Ty is Ty.
He ain't good looking, but he sure ain't shy. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Ty Cicero high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? If somebody responds.
Thank God we built you. What a blessing for the community. You are wasting valuable space on our majestic shoreline, and what do we get out of it from you? 10 miserable games a year, including 2 preseason games that I have to pay for, and 1 Kenny Chesney concert. Do you understand that it is actually statistically harder for a team to be this consistently bad than it is for them to occasionally accidentally be good? The probability is staggering. Did you happen to see that Packers-Chargers game today? It's like they're playing a different sport than you are. And here's what you have to understand. We don't even expect you to be good. We just want you to be watchable. Do you have any idea how low our expectations are? We don't expect you to win the Super Bowl. We just want you to look better than a Division III high school team. And listen, I know that there are way more important things in life than football, but you are supposed to be our pleasant distraction from those things. But all we do is pay you money to put us in a bad mood every week. You are a factory of sadness! I'll see you Sunday.
It's a factory of sadness! Welcome to Beat the Big Dog Tuesday in the Doghouse. As if I didn't take enough of a beating last night. The factory of sadness. More on that in a moment. It is a Beat the Big Dog Tuesday in the Doghouse because with us being gonzo after tomorrow, yes, we have a show tomorrow. We'll do the Friday trifecta. We'll do the Christmas fecta tomorrow, okay? And then we won't be back until a week from tomorrow. All right, we'll be off Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and then back again on Wednesday, the 29th or whatever that date is. Maybe the 30th. Yeah, the 29th. We'll be on the 29th and 30th next week, okay? So 2 days next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and 1 more day this week tomorrow, which we'll do the Christmas fecta tomorrow. So today we got to get this week's episode of Beat the Big Dog in, all right? Kind of like Thanksgiving week. And we are here to give you 2 sweet lower bowl tickets to the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl on the 30th between Tennessee and Purdue. We'll get that in later on in hour number 2 because certainly Johnny on the cell didn't get it. He didn't win it. Phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in, 256-576-4977. You can also text the show at 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed personally is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on Twitch and Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. Watch the show there. Watch the show on YouTube at 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Like and subscribe. Go to 97.7ESPN.com for links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get the app. There you can find a link to Zone 2, 3, and 4 as well, our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Remember, we have Alabama and UAH basketball, plus the Havoc and high school basketball action as well. 20 bowl games. The Huntsville City Classic, all of that stuff. The college football playoffs, the national championship game. We are the home for everything. So you need to have all our channels. Joining us in a few minutes, David Moulton of the SEC on CBS and NFL on Fox will join us. Brought to us by North Alabama Mortgage. We'll get his thoughts on a number of college and pro topics. And at the top of the 11, Tom Luginbill of ESPN is back, brought to us by Woody Anderson Ford. Luke's has an intense week next week with 2 bowl games in Orlando, plus the Under Armour All-American game. So he's going to be pretty busy next week. We will not talk to Luke's again until after the 1st, when we have a national championship game set up. Crushing loss for the Browns last night. Absolutely devastating loss for the Browns last night. and Nick Mullins. Just another chapter in the factory of sadness. That cut from a few years ago, the Factory of Sadness cut, which is world famous to Browns fans, pretty much sums up the life of a Browns fan. Look, I get it that there were 18 guys out. I get it that 10 starters were out last night. And that the quarterback, Nick Mullins, from Spain Park High School, had a grand total of 1 practice with the active team. 1 practice with the active team. And I was content to see them lose in a hopeless situation. I literally went in the bedroom to watch the game. My wife and 2 of my grandkids were watching some Christmas movie. My sons all ended up at my son Joe's house because he's got this couch that my daughter gave him, this big pit couch. And they all went to his house to watch it. They invited me over there, and I said, you know what? No. My wife said, hey, go over and watch the game with your boys if you want. And I'm like, not tonight. This isn't even the Browns. This is like the freshman team. It's not even the JV. There's so many guys are out. They're going to get whacked. I'm just going to sit here and accept it in misery and just watch it. Because I know they're going to lose. I understand it's hopeless. There's no chance. But then a funny thing happened. They were down 10-0 in the third quarter. If they're missing an easy field goal at the end of the first half, they've actually put together a couple of first downs at the end of the first half. And the kid goes out there, and he makes the field goal. Oh, no, wait. 47 yards. It's nothing in the NFL. Oh, wait. They called timeout. They got to ice the kicker. Ice the kicker. That never works. Oh, it worked. He gets up there and shanks it. Oh, sure. Why not? And then they come out in the second half, and they get a turnover. And they drive down on a short field. They finally start giving the ball to Nick Chubb on stretch plays as opposed to that stupid inside zone play out of the shotgun that never works. It takes so long to develop. It never – does it work in practice? It never, ever works. You know the play I'm talking about. You got the guy over – it doesn't work for any team ever. You got your running back in a hip position, quarterback in this shotgun. They run the inside zone, maybe with a scheme pull. You hand it off to the running back. He stagger steps. He's already 5 yards back in the backfield and runs into the middle of the line and gets tackled. Never works. But yet you run the sprint draw and he goes for 25 yards. They drive down the field, they score. They give up a field goal. Now they're down 13-7 late in the fourth quarter. I'm like, what the hell? And they get the ball. 8 or 9, 10 minutes to go, and they drive the length of the field. Nick Mullins is hitting key passes. He's starting to feel it. The kid is, Nick Chubb is running the ball. They're going down the field. It's 4th down and 5 from the 6-yard line. All right, it's going to end right here, but at least it was a valiant effort. Mullins rolls out. He hits a wide-open receiver in the end zone that was held and fell down. The guy was down on the ground. Harrison Bryant, he got up off of the ground like Lazarus rising from the dead. And they dumped the ball off to him in the end zone on 4th and 5. They score a touchdown. Oh, my God, there's 3:47 to go in the game. They're going to win this. They're going to steal this game. They're going to be in first place in the AFC North going into Christmas. My phone is blowing up. My sons are watching at Joe's house. They're texting. My dad is keeping tabs from his men's church meeting in Florida. And he's asking me for updates. I'll keep updating me. All they need is some sort of a stop, and it's over. And then they pick off Derek Carr. Oh, my God, they intercepted him. I can't believe this. They intercepted Derek Carr 2 minutes and 40 seconds ago. A first down, and it's over. The stunning win. But no, 3 and out. And a punt at the 2-minute warning. Then the Raiders hit a pass to the Browns 30. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, now it's a chip shot. They hit a pass to the 30. No big deal. It's over. Wait a minute. Holding Las Vegas. And it backs them all the way up to their own, like 35, 40-yard line. It's like a tantamount to like a 30-yard penalty. Like, oh, my gosh. They're alive. There's only 35 seconds to go. No timeouts. And then they get a completion to a wide-open receiver and another completion to a wide-open guy. Like the Browns are protecting the end zone. They only need a field goal to win. And they're protecting the end zone. They're not blitzing. They're not doing anything. They're playing soft. They're playing off. They're expecting a four-man rush, 3.5. Myles Garrett's got a broken groin or something. Something happened to him. His groin is all messed up. He can't do anything. He's out there in name only. And they get back to the Browns. 30. Spike the ball. 3 seconds left on the clock.
How about this pressure on Carlson? If he misses, their season essentially is over. This one counts, and the Raiders have won it. Las Vegas is still alive. 16-14 as Carlson hits the game winner.
Five hours later, I was still having trouble getting to sleep. I didn't even watch the Vikings-Bears game. My wife's like, are you going to at least record it so you can watch it after I fall asleep? I'm like, no. No, I'm done. I'm done with football. What do you want to watch? I don't care. We'll watch Maine Cabin Masters. We'll watch them build a cabin. What do you want to watch? We'll watch FBI Most Wanted. We'll watch whatever you want to watch. I don't care. Flip My Garage. I don't care. Whatever you want to watch, babe. Whatever. I don't care. Don't care. You know, 5 hours later, I couldn't get to sleep. I was tossing and turning. Are we too caught up in our teams? Why should this make us so miserable? I mean, I'm not like those other talk show hosts. Oh yeah, I was a fan of a team when I was a kid. They all say, "No, I'm here for the analysis. I'm not. No, you know what? Bull crap. I'm like you guys. I live and die with this crap. I don't know why. It's stupid. I'm like you guys. I'm not going to sit here some hoity-toity. I'm the talk show host. I'm just going to analyze the game with no emotion. I can't do it. But why should it make us this miserable? I'm 61 years old. I mean, think about it. In every sport, only one fan base ends the year in total happiness. Right? One. And look, I get my share of winning. I'm an Alabama fan. Although there was a long stretch there from 92 to 09, 18 long years without a title. I'm a Yankees fan, for God's sakes. There were like 27 World Series. But you know, it's been like 12 years now since the Yankees won in 2009. The Browns, basically my whole life. My whole life. 1964, I was 4 years old. My whole life it's been. They have had plenty of close calls. I got a Bruins win. In 2011, I got a Stanley Cup out of the Bruins. That's been 10 years now. And that one ended like a 40-year drought. And the Bruins have played for the Stanley Cup and lost it like a half a dozen times in that period of time. Is it really worth all of this emotional commitment that we put into it? But then I was at my body shop this morning picking up my truck. Ironically, and this is a true story, my body shop is called Brown's Body Shop. Fantastic shop. Right here in Winchester, Tennessee. It's called Brown's Body Shop. My truck was supposed to be ready yesterday at 1 o'clock. Of course they disappointed me. It's Brown's Body Shop. It was ready this morning. They did a wonderful job. So I go over to Brown's Body Shop to pick up my truck, and there's this old dude sitting in a back office. Solemn-looking, older gentleman. And he's wearing a Detroit Lions hoodie. And suddenly I felt a little better. In that little glass booth over there, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and keeping us on the air. I mean, a guy who lived through 28-3. Coach Chris.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Now, Grizz, I get a text from my mother that the gift that I sent my father showed up today. My father's, at the very least, a large, if not an extra large. He weighs about 200 pounds. And she tells me that I got him this really cool hat and a shirt and stuff like that. The shirt's a medium. It showed up, it's a medium. You got to be kidding me.
That could be a problem. Yeah, I can't squeeze into medium anymore, that's for sure.
Grizz,
large or extra large for me.
I don't know how caught up you are in your teens, because you don't break, you don't go to great lengths to get your, I could have picked my truck up last night at 4 o'clock. He told me it would be ready.
Yeah.
I said, no, I have an appointment, because I was to watch a Browns game. I'm not missing a Browns game for nothing, okay?
No, yeah.
I bootleg every Browns game on Sunday. I figure out a way to find it on the internet, crack the NFL streams, whatever, and hook it up to my TV. And if I had to, for years I had the DirecTV just so I could watch the NFL Sunday Ticket, but now I can hijack it. I'm not putting one of them god-awful dishes on this beautiful 110-year-old house.
Yeah.
So I don't have that now, but I get the game. I figure it out. It's I go to great lengths. I don't know what I would do if 28-3 happened to me in a Super Bowl.
Well,
I don't know how I wouldn't sleep for a week.
And I'll be totally honest with you. Around that time, it was wild for me too. The Falcons lost. I went to every playoff game except for the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the
that year.
I went to the division matchup against the Seahawks. Sat in the 17th row, corner of the end zone. And then the next game, me and my buddy were like, "Hey, we're going to it if the Packers play the Falcons at home." And got a really good ticket, nosebleed, but we were on the first level, the first row of the nosebleed section. So we were right there, and it was actually a pretty decent seat. And it's an NFC Championship game, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Long story short was it was just a bad year for me. Girlfriend broke up with me. Life wasn't really feeling too great at the time. Falcons lost in the worst fashion of a Super Bowl of any team could ever lose. It was a really weird. You would
have to take my belt and my shoelaces.
Yeah, it was really weird for me. It was a really dark time for me, to be honest with you. Was, to be totally honest with you, when the Falcons lost in 2016, and that whole year for me was just not good for me. I was very. Yeah, you would not have.
Before you met me. Right?
Yeah, because I started in 17. I started in the next year.
Right.
Yeah.
So you hadn't met me.
Yeah.
You hadn't come to
I hadn't seen the light, I guess.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Girlfriend breaks up with you.
Yeah.
Falcons win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or 28-3 happens, but the girl, you end up proposing to her and you get engaged and you get married. Which would have been, which would have made you more happy? Falcons win, girlfriend breaks up, or Falcons lose, but the girl becomes your wife?
I would take the win and the breakup. She's a lot happier now. She's a lot happier now.
I gotta say, I'm very excited about tonight.
Yeah, no,
I'm
wow.
excited about tonight because we have our private company Christmas dinner tonight.
It'll be a lot of fun
at Nick's Restaurante. Go figure. So I'm looking forward to that.
Used to work
very,
there.
very much. And I know that the Junkyard Babe and myself are very much looking forward to meeting your little friend.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. No, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So
that's going to be
she's
exciting.
Really excited.
You don't think that'll die before the dinner, do you?
No,
I mean,
no.
right?
She's really excited. No, we've been talking.
She's excited about going.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked for that. But I wonder. I mean, you're only 33 years old or 32 years old.
What's up?
Are we too attached to our teams?
I mean,
because only think about how many people are unhappy at the end of the year. I mean, there's 31 teams that lost and one that won. I mean, are we too? I mean, should we not be so attached?
I think. Well, I don't think we. So attached, maybe not to the extent of radicalism.
Unhealthy.
No radicalism or anything like that. It is a little unhealthy because you'll go through time. Like I would there'd be times where I just thought a lot of stuff was like, especially if you have a problem with depression, like if you think that everything's coming down on you, you feel like everyone's kind of attacking you or whatever, and then you lose a fantasy game or your team loses, you know what I mean? Like you feel some sort of like, if you take it very seriously, like you do feel a little like everything's kind of, why is everything attacking? You know what I mean? Why is everybody attacking me? People do feel like that.
Yeah, I know. But I think about my life, right?
Yeah.
I've got a great job, right? I work in the toy factory of life with a fantastic owner. You know what I mean? I mean, I've worked for corporate radio for the biggest radio outfits in the entire world, and I've worked for radio companies that are owned by individuals.
Right.
And even though those have worked out good in the past, it would always, every time I've worked for a radio company that was owned by an individual, they always seem to be struggling financially. I don't have that situation now. I work for a great company. So I got a great job working for a great company. I'm the national host of a show that covers a topic that I am absolutely passionate about in fishing, right?
Yeah.
I don't have significant financial concerns. I got a wonderful wife, a fantastic woman that I'm married to. I've got, my kids are all healthy. My grandkids, I got wonderful grandkids. I mean, I've got nothing. My truck now has these really cool fender flares on them.
Yeah.
My Woody Anderson Ford F-150 looks better than ever.
See that tonight.
There's a convertible Mustang in the parking lot downstairs where that my wife absolutely adores. I mean, I don't have the greatest health in the world, but for the most part, I got life by the balls. You know what I mean? I got about as good a life as you could possibly ask for, and I couldn't get to sleep last night because the Cleveland Browns lost in unbelievable fashion. And it wasn't because they lost. It was because they almost won, and then they lost.
Well, and I can completely agree with you when it comes to, like, do we take it a little too seriously? Like, I mean, like I said, I got bullied, or not bullied, but I got made fun of in high school for being an Alabama fan, and Auburn, absolutely dismantling Alabama for forever, it seemed like. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it was never going to end. And then being a Braves fan, 26 years? I mean, 26 years. There have been many division games, and there have been many championship series games where I've probably almost broke down and cried. Because the Braves that's what I was all about, was the Atlanta Braves.
If there's one team of your teams, if I could only give you a World Series win or a Super Bowl win of those two, or let's say a national championship.
Yeah.
All right, so you only get one. An Alabama national championship, a Braves World Series win, or a Falcons Super Bowl win. Which do you take?
I'm taking the Braves.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Braves.
Good. I'm glad you had. I'm glad that they gave you that this fall.
I know.
I'm glad they gave
He's talking Steve's over here looking at me like the Falcons. The thing is about the Falcons with me, though, it wasn't like I was born into it. Like the Braves, I was kind of born into
Steve,
it, Alabama,
Steve,
I was born into it.
But I wonder for Steve, right? Yeah. It's been 1980. So forget that the Braves won.
Yeah.
If you could only have one, a Georgia Bulldog national championship or a Braves World Series win. For Steve, you can only have one. You can have a Falcons Super Bowl, a Braves,
it's hurting him right now,
or a Georgia national. I'll give you the Georgia national championship this year, but the Falcons never win a Super Bowl in your lifetime. One or the other. You get the Georgia national championship, the Falcons never win a Super Bowl, or the Falcons win the Super Bowl next year. The Georgia gets beat by Alabama again, but this time they get beat by Alabama. They're going for 2 to win the national championship, and the ball is tipped in the air and goes straight up in the air, and Alabama intercepts it in the end zone, and Alabama wins their 52nd national championship. Georgia does not win, but the Falcons win the Super Bowl next year, and Georgia never again wins the national championship. Which do you take? Which do you take? That's what you're dealing with.
I gotta go. I gotta go Falcons. I gotta go Falcons.
Falcons Super Bowl would be the number one thing.
28-3 still is ingrained and hurts big time.
Yeah.
Does
that hurt worse than the way Georgia lost the SEC championship game back in 2018?
No. Which one?
Well, yeah. What about 2018? The national championship in 2018. There's a good one. The way they lost from 13.
Yeah, I was on the field for second and 26 too. So
which was worse, second and 26 or 28-3?
28-3.
Yeah, there you go.
28-3. Because that felt. As good as it felt in the third quarter when the ball started rolling, it just was a hopeless feeling.
Yeah. All right. Good
kind of like being a Browns fan.
Yeah, every day
Jabs.
of my life.
Yeah.
All right, let me get a break. I'm not answering that question, by the way, so I'm just going to tell you that right now. Let me get a break. We'll come back. David Moulton is next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
NFL, 2 games today. The Seahawks facing the Rams on the road. Seattle getting 7 points. The over-under 45.5. Also in prime time, the Washington football team plus 6.5 points on the road against the Eagles. 42, the over-under. Both games move back due to COVID. Bowl season taking a day off today. Tomorrow, it'll be Missouri and Army in the Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, Texas. The Black Knights at 8-4, a 5.5-point favorite over the Tigers at 6-6, 56.5 total. UFC 270 next month. Interim heavyweight champion Cyril Gane, a slight -115 favorite over current title holder Francis Ngannou at -105 in the main event in Anaheim, January 22nd.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
There are not many things as satisfying as going through an ordering checklist of specific options and features and then taking delivery of your dream truck or SUV. Hey, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we make it easy to custom order your new Ford today and get exactly what you want. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and see how easy it is. Not only is there no extra cost for the custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on a 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, Escape, and even Edge. With a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford, you get the colors, the features, and the options you want, and you'll be notified when it's built, shipped, and ready for delivery. It's most likely the second largest investment you'll ever make, so why settle? Get your dream car or truck with a custom factory order today and get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Touchdown, Boilermakers!
Witness tomorrow's NFL stars this month at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
First down, hand off, tailback, right up the middle to the 30. He's out of here. 20 to the 10, crank up Rocky Top. Touchdown, right up the middle.
Don't miss a second as Tennessee and Purdue, two of college football's top programs, go head-to-head on Thursday, December 30th at 2 p.m. inside Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
It's Alabama, Cincinnati, Georgia, and Michigan in the Final Four.
No. Yes.
Listen to all the coverage and the games right here.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh, so you think by playing, happy Christmas music, that's supposed to change my mood?
A little bit.
Oh. Supposed to change my outlook? Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. At North Alabama Mortgage, they'll do whatever it takes to make sure they get you in the proper mortgage for your property, whether it is a new purchase or a refinance, whether it's in Alabama or Florida or Tennessee, doesn't matter, whether it's conventional, VA, FHA, USDA, they handle it all, and they take care of you like it's family. I mean, that's how I know, because I've been dealing with Brian Hamaker on my own refinance, and it's incredible the work that they've been doing for me, because I'm a unique situation because of the way I'm paid from my various endeavors. It's not just like I'm working at some place and I get a W-2, and for all of my income. I don't have that situation. So in my particular case, I'm pulling in income from all different sources, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. So you got to have somebody like Brian Hamaker to help you through that morass to make sure that you get the best deal possible, and I have gotten a great deal on my refinance. All right, joining us now, a guy, he's much more professional than I am, so things don't probably affect him the way they affect me. David Moulton from the SEC on CBS, the NFL on Fox, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome in. How are you?
I don't know about that, Tom. You just used the word morass. Okay, so that's that's up there.
It's a good word, but the Factory of Sadness got me again last night. I slipped into my bedroom to watch that game. Didn't watch it with the boys. The Browns game. It was at a quirky, 4:00 Central Time. Grandkids were over watching a Christmas movie with my wife, so I just slipped into the bedroom, totally expecting a loss. Nick Mullins, Spain Park High School in Birmingham, just to it was going the way I thought it would go, and then they gave us hope with 3.5 minutes to go, and then they intercept a pass, and then they lose anyway. And I was devastated. And David, I'm a professional at this, 61 years old. Are we supposed to care about teams the way we care about teams? Do you care about any of your teams any more the way you cared about them, all throughout your life?
The Rangers and the Mets, I do. I feel as if the Giants have already given me more than I asked for.
Mm-hmm.
But the New York Rangers and the New York Mets, they can still really honk me off.
Yeah, it's good to know, because I know a lot of people, that are in our business, they say, well, I was a fan of a team when I was a kid, but not anymore. I think that it's important to still have that passion. To do what we do, I think you still have to have a little bit. And look, I've had my share of winning. With Alabama and the New York Yankees, I've had my share of winning. But the Browns, the Bruins, won in 10 years ago, but that broke a 40-year run. The Browns, basically my entire life. lot of close calls, but never getting it done. And Grizz is a Falcons fan. I don't know how they survived 28-3. I mean, could you imagine blowing 28-3? I don't know what I would have done. I'd have been in the nut house after that.
Well, I'm hoping that the Braves win helps soothe the deep pain from 28-3.
Yeah.
A little, just dulls it a little bit. Kind of like a little cocktail before dinner.
Well, your cousin from not another mother, Steve Moulton, who is our program director.
Right.
He is a big Georgia fan and Falcons fan and Braves fan. He's from that neck of the woods over there. And I asked him what hurt more, to be honest with you. I asked him what hurt more, 2nd and 26 or 28-3. I mean, can you imagine having to live through that? 2nd and 26 or 28-3. He said 2nd and 26. No. He said 28-3. He said 28-3 was worth. He said that he would take a Falcons Super Bowl win over and give up ever having a Georgia national championship win. I don't know. I would have a hard time picking it.
Yeah, I think it's because 28-3 was a slow death over an hour. That's why. I mean, 2nd and 26, boom. There you go. Touchdown. Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
And, Eli with the epic call. But, 28-3. I mean, that's like watching yourself die.
But 28-6 comes from 13-0 and a freshman quarterback coming in for the second half. I mean, that looked like that. Yeah. That looked like Alabama would never win that game. You know what I mean? It looked like they were never going to score.
Pretty good freshman quarterback, and besides, during that same hour, his offense wasn't doing anything. You kind of got the feeling that they had put up all the points they were going to put up.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. You will be in Nashville on Thursday, and I believe you're not doing a game. You're done.
No,
who's doing it for the NFL Network?
I don't know I know who's directing it, but I don't know who's broadcasting it.
Oh, so you don't have to go.
I don't know.
Nice. Now, are you going to be in Green Bay for Christmas? Are you in Green Bay Christmas Day?
For your Browns. Yep. We were kind of rooting for a little Browns win there, make that game a little more appealing. But, yes, nothing says Christmas like Lambeau Field, Tom.
Well, is there a – I don't know. Is there a worse place to be than I mean, other than being away from your family? Maybe you get to take your wife. But is there – I mean, I don't know, man. Green Bay on Christmas Day, that might not suck. You know what I mean? That's kind of winter wonderland. For a guy that lives in Florida like you, Packers, Browns, no?
Tom, there's a reason we live in Florida.
Yeah,
it's to not spend Christmas at Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
My wife, that's hysterical that you said maybe you could take your wife. Tom, my wife wouldn't come to Green Bay, Wisconsin in late December if she was subpoenaed. Okay? I mean, there's no chance. We did 5 years in Fargo.
Yeah.
And that was it. As we were leaving 22 years ago, she looked at me and said, never again.
Even to be with you? Her beloved David?
Well, they've been married to me for 25 years. What's another weekend apart?
When do you go out? Will you guys be up there for Christmas? You have to be up there Christmas Eve, right? When do you fly out?
Yeah. Yep. Fly out Christmas Eve and try to fly out the next day. There's the threat of weather, which is always fun.
You need that.
So, yes. Now, I got to admit, the NFL has kind of stumbled into this Christmas thing. They did it last year. They tried it. They threw a little Saints-Vikings at us. Kamara scored 6 touchdowns. The ratings were really good. NFL turned and said, let's stick it to the NBA. Let's do 2 of these games. And so I have a feeling, Tom, we're going to have games on Christmas just about every year. Might be hard to do it when it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but otherwise I think we're going to have Christmas games, 5 out of every 7 years.
When I was doing pregame for the Titans, we had a Christmas Day game against San Diego. I hated it. I lived in Nashville and had to just having to go down there and do the pregame and then the game and the postgame and all that stuff. I couldn't stand it, and they got whacked. I mean, San Diego beat them like 40-something, and that was when the Titans were pretty good, and they got destroyed in that game. I just I understood the appeal of it for other people, but I always did feel for the people who had to work the game, because that was the only time I ever had to work on Christmas Day, and I was like, this sucks, man.
And I'm curious if the Browns' heart was broken last night and they're done.
No. They had to win 4 out of 5. Everybody says they win 4 out of 5 to finish the year. They're in. Now what's happened is they were supposed to beat Oakland and lose to or the Raiders and lose to the Packers. So now they got to save the season.
Tom, I get it mathematically. They can win out, and 10-7 might get it done. But have you seen their remaining schedule?
No,
I mean, this is like hold on. This is like being in the SEC West.
Yeah.
And blowing the game against Arkansas and saying, well, but we can make it up by going to Tuscaloosa on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the point is, for the storyline, this game saves the seat. You live another day. Monday Night Football against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and then at home against Cincinnati. You got it. You got to win this game, or it's over.
You are a hopeless romantic. Wow.
Hey, the Cardinals went into Detroit and beat the Detroit Lions as a 14-point dog. The Saints, without their head coach and with some dude at quarterback that's a glorified running back, shut out the highest-scoring offense in the NFL. Don't tell me that stuff doesn't happen. It's a Christmas miracle. I mean, it can happen.
Wow. This is like Belushi in Animal House. The Germans, Pearl Harbor. I mean, man.
Maybe Green Bay is sitting everybody. They've won their division. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers is going to break the all-time record for touchdown passes in Green Bay Packers history. He'll be very fired up for the game.
Well, they never had any other quarterbacks there. That's no big deal. I mean, come on.
No, they've been struggling at the position for a long time.
You got a shout-out. It was your birthday last Sunday.
I know.
I did not know that. And they gave you a shout-out on the air, and I was the stunning part about it was apparently Joe Buck's spotter. It was his birthday as well. So you're talking to the two guys that sit left and right of the broadcast crew. It was both of your birthdays on the same day?
That is very odd. We discovered that just shooting the bull last year in Seattle, in which it was like, wait a minute, when's your birthday? Oh, wait, when's yours? And yeah, both born on December 19th. And he turned 50, so it was a bigger day for him. It was the big 5-0 for Ed Spida. As for me, 56, whatever.
Yeah. I didn't realize I was that much older than you. I thought I was only a couple of years older than you. I'm like 5 years older than you. Okay, and you were the one that caught the 10 men on the field. That's how it started. Troy gave you love. He says, Moulton, who caught? Joe asked Troy, who caught that? Was that David? And he gave you love for that. That's a good catch by you.
Yes. I think Joe was just trying to work in a birthday greeting for the two of us. There was about 4 minutes to go in the game. He hadn't fit it in yet. So I think he just saw it as an opportunity. I mean, Ed's been with him 18 years.
Yeah.
So he really wanted to give a shout out to his guy there. But it was very nice of him. I mean, only 22 million people hurt. I mean, it's no big deal. It slipped right by everybody, right?
But a lot of the 22 million didn't know like who you are. You know what I mean? So I think this was good. That
there's only probably 14 of them who know who I am. But yeah.
All right, so most importantly, what did Aikman get you for your birthday? Because I mean, he must have touched you up. I mean, the guy's a multimillionaire. He's got a great life. I mean, he must have taken a moment to touch up his boy David Moulton. What did Aikman get you for your birthday?
A fist bump and a nice text. I mean, Tom, we're men. When's the last time
he didn't give you one of the Super Bowl rings?
Hold on.
Yeah.
When's the last time you bought a birthday gift for someone that you are not related to? And I mean directly related to, i.e., wife and children.
And Dad, I get something from it. Well, not always.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Mom
I
and
do.
Dad, right.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Dad's optional.
Dad's
Right,
optional.
a phone call in the morning. Hey, you're still here. How are you?
Nice shot by you. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That's a good point. All right. I thought maybe he gave you one of the Super Bowl rings, something like that. Like here, David.
Yes. Yeah, he just
got
throws
3.
them around like Chiclet.
I figured he had enough of them.
Hey, here's the Skittle, and why don't you have my 93 ring? Sure.
Do you have to do the Sun Bowl? Do you go to the Sun Bowl with Gary?
Yes. Somewhere in life, I must have done something, and I am punished with El Paso on New Year's Eve for about 12 years now. It is Groundhog Day. It is the same people, the same hotel, the same room. It is exactly the same every single year, and a Sun Bowl tradition has popped up in the last 10 years. I think 9 of the last 10 years, one of the 2 teams involved in the game has an interim head coach.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Pretty much half of college football has an interim head coach, it feels like. It'll be Miami and Washington State. But both of them have.
Right.
Did they both have interim coaches? Washington State doesn't
no,
have a coach.
I think the interim got promoted.
Did they? Okay. All right, so you get Miami and Washington State. So at least you get to see Miami. That's good, I guess, for your show there in Florida. So do you get on a plane after, or do you dudes go to some sports bar or the hotel and watch the national semifinal games? Because Alabama Cincinnati right after your game.
Right. Normally, we would go back to the hotel. There's a big room that we kind of commandeer, and it's got a TV and food and drink, and we would watch the games. I think we're going to try to sneak out, and there's a flight that can get us to Dallas, and I have to be in Dallas the following Sunday. So I will probably get to Dallas about halftime of Alabama-Cincinnati.
But you're not staying there for the week. Oh, no. You mean the following Sunday, like the next day? Or 2 days later?
Yeah, or 2 days later, because
okay.
It's a Friday. So I'll fly to Dallas, and then I'll watch the second half of Bama, and then I'll watch Georgia, Michigan, and then I'll be there for the next couple of days.
Will Cincinnati be in a game at halftime?
Okay, what's a game? 10 or less?
Will they be within 2 touchdowns at halftime? Or will Alabama already covered the 13.5 at the half?
No.
Really?
No. I think it'll be a game at the half. Might be a stretch. It might be 10. But I think it'll be a game at the half. I do think Cincinnati's secondary might be able to keep them in this game for a little while. They're actually pretty good. They got 2 NFL defensive linemen, and they got probably 2 NFL guys in the secondary. So they might, especially obviously without Mechie, I think they might be able to stick around on the back end.
I think they're blowing them out by halftime.
All right.
I just think
I will say this, though.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's been blown out at halftime twice.
Right.
Ohio State was blown out at halftime.
Oh, I'm not saying it negatively towards Cincinnati. I'm just saying I think that, I think that this will be one of those. I mean, giving this guy a month, to prepare for these games, it always seems to happen. And the guys that they got, that they're working on. Yeah.
I got you. I will say, the biggest concern has got to be COVID, doesn't it? For everybody right now? I mean, doesn't it have to be COVID?
Well, the NFL, it'll be interesting to see because we haven't seen it in the college game like we've seen with the NFL. And, of course, the NHL is now shut down for the week. They're not even talking about it. They're not testing.
Listen, I got to be honest, Tom. I wouldn't test. If I was
wouldn't
Alabama, Cincinnati, Georgia, Michigan, I wouldn't test unless somebody was sick.
Exactly.
I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. There's too much at stake here. You can criticize me all you want. Plus, they're 18 to 22-year-olds. They're the healthiest demographic that we have fighting this. If what Nick says is true, that 90+% of his team, I'm hopeful it's the same way with the other 3 teams. I mean, the odds of one of these players, now the coach is a different story, but the odds of one of these players getting sick from COVID are staggeringly small.
Yeah.
I think a better chance to win the lottery. So, quite frankly, if I was running those 4 schools, if I were their ADs, I would not test for COVID unless someone got sick, and then I'd test them.
Well, there's no doubt. Even with just 61% of the nation vaccinated right now, the death rate now is down to 26 people per 1 million in terms of getting sick, badly enough to kill them. So it's a different world. This isn't the COVID that we saw a year and a half ago, and I wish that the NFL is going to have to relook at the way they're looking at it. None of the 18 guys that sat out for Cleveland last night were sick at all. They were all asymptomatic. If they weren't tested, they wouldn't even have known they had it. And guys are playing with it. They just didn't happen to get tested. Oh, look, it's buried in your system somewhere. But with the vaccination rate, if the vaccination rate was what it is in sports, if that was the vaccination rate in the country, we'd be like Canada. It'd be 3 or 4 deaths per million. We got to figure this out.
And I just want to get this out there because people are making everything that someone says political. I've gotten 3 shots. I was double vaxxed, and I got the booster a month ago.
Me too.
It's not a political statement. I wear a mask far more than most people do in the state of Florida. Okay, but I do think, we could have a societal discussion a different week. But the sports world, I think, needs to figure out how are we going to play with COVID?
Yeah.
It's not leaving. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
So we need to figure out how are we going to play with it? And if the answer is we're going to keep postponing, canceling, and shutting down, then this is just going to be
it's ridiculous.
A blank show for years.
No, it's ridiculous. We play with the flu. We play with the cold. We're going to play with, guys are going to play with COVID. And it's something that can be in your system that you don't even know you got, especially with the vaccination. All right, David Moulton. David.
I know. COVID is worse than the cold and the flu. We do have to acknowledge that. But we still got to figure out what our next step is.
Right, but it's getting under control is what I'm saying. And now every variant, there's always going to be variants. Every variant of it, they're not always, as bad as what the original was. And the vaccines are better than ever, I believe. And I also got my booster this past week. All right, David, Merry Christmas. Bring me back a Christmas miracle from Green Bay. It's only 7.5, okay? It's not like it was 14. This is not like the Lions beating the Cardinals. So this can happen. The Browns will be very rested. The actual starters will be rested because they're coming off a bye, basically. And I can get a Christmas miracle is what I want you to bring me for this deal. So, have a good time up there. And we'll figure out next week because I don't even know what our schedule is. I know I'm off Monday, Tuesday of next week, so we'll see when we can track you down.
I'll be around.
All right, man.
Merry Christmas. And if it's this long, Happy New Year to all of your listeners. Thanks for putting up with me all season.
No, thank you. It's easy to put up with David Moulton. All right, man. Thanks.
Be good.
Let's get out of here. We're way over time. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Tuesday afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures hanging out in the low and mid-60s. Only dropping into the mid and upper 40s as we head into the overnight. A little more cloud cover for your Wednesday, but overall a really beautiful afternoon. Plenty of sunshine and temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 60s. Some of us are going to make a pretty solid run at 70 degrees, dropping into the lower 50s as we head into the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Segment of the show is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. For all your equipment rental needs, it's Valley Equipment Rental. They do a tremendous job down there. Ross Roberts and his crew, local folks. I know it feels like it's like a big national chain or something. You say, wait a minute, Valley Equipment. No. They're right here. They're local guys. Went to high school here, went to school around here, and they do a tremendous job. Got a second location coming that's going to be out on the North Parkway up just past Winchester Road, and they'll have more equipment there, bigger equipment there. It's going to be fantastic. Valley Equipment. All right, coming up next, Thom Luginbill will join us from ESPN. And then after that, we'll set you up for the Beat the Big Dog. It's all coming up right here on your home for pretty much everything. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There are not many things as satisfying as going through an ordering checklist of specific options and features and then taking delivery of your dream truck or SUV. Hey, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we make it easy to custom order your new Ford today and get exactly what you want. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and see how easy it is. Not only is there no extra cost for the custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on a 2021 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, Escape, and even Edge. With a custom order at Woody Anderson Ford, you get the colors, the features, and the options you want, and you'll be notified when it's built, shipped, and ready for delivery. It's most likely the second largest investment you'll ever make, so why settle? Get your dream car or truck with a custom factory order today and get $1,000 off MSRP. See how at WoodyAndersonFord.com or at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
Ho, ho, ho! Bob Baumhauer here, and Baumhauer's Victory Grill is kicking off the holiday season right. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to our homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course our world-famous buffalo wings. We've got your holiday meals covered with our legendary party-ready trays. And what's a holiday party without gifts? Now through December 24th, get a $5 bonus card with every $25 in gift cards purchased. Plus, our signature sauces make great stocking stuffers too. Merry Christmas!
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi at this hour. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts on track to return from an ankle injury and start tonight against Washington. Who'll be under center for Washington remains to be seen, as starter Taylor Heineke and backup Kyle Allen are on the COVID list. If they don't test off the list in time, Kyle Shermer would be in line to start. Washington, with a win, would move into 7th in the NFC. Vikings hold on to 7th if Philly wins. Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady expressing frustration over receiver Chris Godwin taking a hit to his knees in the loss to the Saints, resulting in a season-ending torn ACL for Brady's top target. Brady on the Let's Go podcast called it a play they need to take out of the game of football, as those hits impact players' careers. Brady added he intends to speak to the NFL Competition Committee this offseason, believing that receivers need to be afforded the same protection as other players.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
From 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Let's party!
Valley Equipment Rental. Pretty self-explanatory name, no? Thom Abraham here. And look, Valley Equipment Rental is all over the Tennessee Valley, and they rent equipment, all kinds of equipment, and not just to the contractors out there, but to you, the general public, as well. Need a skid steer or an excavator? Well, they've got over 40 units to make sure they've got one for you. From huge boom lifts to miscellaneous hand tools, it's at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Parkway. And soon, they'll have a second location to handle even more equipment. More on that to come.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Leaving his mark on sports talk radio with a paddle.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Join Wes Neighbors weekday afternoons on The Drive, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. That's right, the service department at Woody Anderson Ford is second to none. They can take care of your vehicle. They can take care of any vehicle. That's just how good they are down there. And the gold certified rigs as well at Woody Anderson Ford. You know, you might want to think about that. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and look at the inventory there. When I decided it was time to get a new car for my wife, that's where I went. I found that white Mustang ragtop, and I called down there to Brian Williams. I said, hang on to that car. We're coming to get it. And that's exactly what we did, and that's what you need to do. It's Woody Anderson Ford, Woody Anderson of Madison, and they bring us Tom Luginbill as they do each and every week, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Lugs, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, man. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're gonna not talk to you until after the New Year, so after the college football semifinals are played out. But man, what a busy week you've got next week. You've got your two games in Orlando, the Cheez-It Bowl, and of course you got Kentucky and Iowa as well there in Orlando, and then you also have your practices for the Under Armour game, and then the Under Armour game on Sunday the 2nd. It's going to be a little bit of a busy week next week for you.
Yeah, man, 5 events, 5 days, but at least from a travel perspective, it kind of worked out. You know, there's been other years where you get 2 bowl games, and I've still got to do some of my duties for the Under Armour All-America game, which I love doing, but when you're out at the Rose Bowl or you're out at the Fiesta Bowl and you're having to go back and forth across the country to meet all the requirements. This time around, from a travel perspective, especially during the holidays, it's kind of a welcome assignment, if you will.
Now, are they all in the same building? I mean, because you got the Kentucky-Iowa game, the Citrus Bowl on the first, and then the Under Armour game on the second. I know you got a couple of different stadiums there in Orlando. Give me the lay of the land there.
No, they're all at the Citrus Bowl. So we've got the Cheez-It Bowl on the 29th between Clemson and Iowa State. And then our practices for the Under Armour game that will air on ESPN are actually down at the Wide World of Sports Complex on the Disney property. And then the Citrus Bowl and the Under Armour game back-to-back days right there in the same stadium. So they're going to be carrying 3 bowl games in 5 days in that stadium.
Now, you've got an incredible roster for the Under Armour game, and these kids are basically all committed now or signed. And I mean, they're all signed. Do you ever hear from any of the college coaches that say, do they discourage the kids at all, or do they like the kids playing in these games? Since I know the fans love it because now we can see the guys that your favorite team has, and you get your first look at them. But do they ever kind of discourage these guys? Do you ever get a call from a college coach saying, I don't really need my kid playing in that game?
No, if anything, we get a call from a college coach saying, can we get our guy in your game?
Wow.
It's usually the other way around. I think that, it's good from a sports information department publication standpoint when they're building these kids' bios and they're putting together their media guides. They love to be able to say, was ranked, such and such number wide receiver in the country, was an Under Armour All-American, was a composite, whatever you want to call it. It's always good information for them to have. And then to be honest with you, man, and the only downside about the Under Armour game is when it is. If it was in the summertime or if it was in the springtime and you could have an event like that, padded, good versus good, it would be one of the greatest evaluation tools that a college coaching staff could have, because you rarely get to see these kids actually compete against each other padded. You see it in camps and combines, but that's in shirts and shorts. But it would be a heck of an opportunity. And so what ends up generally happening is by the end of that week is when the coaches all start checking in. Hey, how's so-and-so doing? How's he handling this? Is he doing what he's supposed to be doing? How's he competing? How's he interact with his peers? Just the evaluation never stops. Even when they're signed, even if they're going to be early enrollees, they still want to know.
So that begs the question, why isn't it in the summer? I mean, is that something that, the Thom Luginbill controls, or is that something that, it seems like this would be a really cool June, July type event when everybody's got their juices flowing for football?
Right. You know what? That is not something that I control. I think a lot of it would be because high school coaches would be very weary of having a padded event like that. If you did something like that in the month of June and they're, 2 months away from going into fall camp, and next thing you know, you lose a kid to an injury. Now he doesn't play his senior season. That's probably the primary reason why. And I can see that. I mean, it totally makes sense. And listen, I mean, look at the world we're living in right now. We have top level prospects, foregoing bowl games. We have players that have an inflated opinion of their ability level,
right,
and their draft stock that are skipping bowl games. And listen, we've had kids before say, I'm not going to play in any All-Star game. I'm just going to go and roll early. I appreciate the invite, but thankfully, but I'm not going to play. It doesn't happen often, but there's going to be times as we continue to move forward. There's going to be kids, because there's a lot of kids that we've had over the last 12, 13 years that literally pack for college, bring all of their stuff to Orlando. When the game's done, they go to campus.
Wow, that is interesting. Now you've got you got a pretty big, you got a really good roster, right? I mean, you've got some of the top guys, obviously, everywhere. And just give us a couple of the quarterbacks. We're always looking at the quarterbacks. We know Auburn has a young quarterback coming in that they're very high on, but give us some of the names that the bigger high profile names we're going to see.
Well, Connor Wegman is, I think, the one guy that we're really excited to see. He's signed with Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I think there's high expectations for him, not just as a player, but because of now opportunity. Zach Calzada leaves. You got Max Johnson transferring in. You're going to get Haynes King back. Looks like you're going to have a wide open competition that he could be, in the mix for. A.J. Duffy, another quarterback out of IMG, was originally out of Southern California, but they didn't play. a year ago, so he made the transfer. He's signed with Florida State, and we all know that that's an area that Mike Norvell is really honed in on because he knows they've got to get improved there. So excited about A.J. Duffy. And I'll tell you, there's a guy that we really like that of all schools, he actually signed with Utah, and his name is Nate Johnson. And 4-star quarterback, was lightly recruited early on in the process and then became heavily recruited later on in the process. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Ravens the other day. I'm like, how is Tyler Huntley in the NFL?
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley is playing in the NFL. And I'm looking at Nate Johnson. I'm going, man, Utah might be pretty good here in a couple of years. And they're just coming off of obviously winning the Pac-12. But you can just see where recruiting has gone for that program since they left the group of 5, entered into the Pac-12, and how they now have access to better players.
Thom Luginbill with us here, talking about some of the recruiting aspects that have gone on. Of course, we're in the middle of bowl season now as well. You mentioned Max Johnson to Texas A&M. They end up with the number 1 class by most composite rankings.
Sure.
And that doesn't include bringing in Max Johnson. Of course, they got the Little Johnson, the tight end, as well. Those guys, we knew that they were going to go together. Now it makes sense as to why Zach Calzada maybe was leaving. But is it an automatic that Max Johnson holds off Haynes King? Or, because it wouldn't seem like that guy, he still got 3 years of eligibility, but it wouldn't seem like he goes there if he didn't have a pretty good feel that he was going to be. It was his job to lose.
Well, I can't imagine, knowing Jimbo that he just hands the reins to anybody without having to earn it. I think here's what I think happened. I think Zach Calzada wanted to be cemented as the starter and told that it was his job, and Jimbo Fisher wasn't going to do that. All right, so he goes out the door, and I think what Jimbo Fisher is willing to do is say, hey, listen, we're going to start this thing from scratch. Max, you're going to have a chance. Connor Wegman, you're going to have a chance. Haynes, you won the job the first time. You're going to have every bit the chance. But he wasn't going to guarantee it to anybody. And, I look at Bo Nix. There's a young quarterback out at Oregon right now by the name of Ty Thompson that came in as a true freshman a year ago. Anthony Brown was able to hold him off. But, I'm not sitting here feeling overly confident that Bo Nix is just going to go in there and win that job outright. I think they're going to be in a much bigger quarterback battle than maybe he thinks they're going to be.
He couldn't have gotten further away from the SEC if he left the country, basically. I mean, that was amazing that he went out there. He goes out there. Dan Lanning, of course, will be the head coach out there. He's splitting time between Oregon and Georgia, where he's the offensive coordinator. I hate that. I mean, for Georgia, I hate that. This is, like the Lane Kiffin deal all over again for Alabama. He ended up getting whacked in between games. Or, I'm sorry, he left in between games, that year. But so Bo Nix, so do you think, though, that that's a great place for him? Because it feels like Bo Nix in the Pac-12 could have a 30-touchdown type season. I mean, this might be the best thing for him.
Well, potentially, but I don't think it eliminates his inconsistencies and his deficiencies. I think he's obviously going to the program that's going to have the best personnel around the quarterback, probably of anybody in that conference. And I say that having had their game versus Oregon State late in the year at the end, and they were decimated by injuries, and they had these 3 freshman receivers that were really, really good. So they're going to get some guys back, and they have an experienced young core of receivers. So they're going to have good people around him. But at the end of the day, he can't be wildly inaccurate. He can't be inconsistent. I mean, he's going into his 4th year. He's got to settle in. Could he be a 30-touchdown guy? Absolutely. Are you going to face the defensive type of football teams you faced in the SEC in that conference? Absolutely not. So maybe that'll ease things up a little bit and enable him to have a great year.
Tell me about this Jahmyr Gibbs kid, the running back out of Georgia Tech. Jahmyr Gibbs. He's a smaller guy, 5'9", 191 pounds. A lot of thought that he's going to end up at Alabama, where they always seem to have a pretty full running back room, at least when it's healthy. But what is the stat? What do you know about that kid? What kind of a back is he? Does he help somebody immediately?
Yeah, he's a stud. He's a big-time player, and Jeff Collins deserves a lot of credit in their early going of their recruiting efforts in there. They were able to identify him, get him in there, and I just think he's one of those kids that felt like, okay, we're getting slightly better here, but are we getting better enough for me to truly have an opportunity to maximize my NFL draft stock? And I think that's where this team sport is now heading. It's, okay, well, what can you do for me? How can it affect me? How can it impact me? And I don't like it necessarily. I get it. That's the world we're living in. But I think he's a difference maker. He would be in the Josh Jacobs mold.
Yeah.
Instead of the Najee Harris, Derrick Henry type of mold. He's shorter, as you mentioned, more compact, super sudden. Just a really, really good player. He's one of those guys that, a lot of these guys go into the transfer portal and they don't realize there's nowhere to go and there's no scholarships. He won't have a problem finding a scholarship.
I mean, for Alabama in their status in the transfer portal, Jameson Williams, I mean, that's all you got to do is say Jameson Williams, because that kid wasn't getting on the field hardly at Ohio State. And I don't even know how much – I mean, he would have played, obviously, but – Ohio State's got some great receivers right now. He would have been part of that rotation.
Yeah.
He goes to Alabama. A lot of people think he should have won the Biletnikoff as the top receiver in the country. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. I mean, look at the money that kid – I'm not talking about NIL money. Look at the NFL money that kid made himself by making that move to Alabama, and that's all you had to – that's all you got to do to point to for a team like that to be able to recruit the portal.
Right. And listen, the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the Ohio States, the Georgias – they're not going to spend a lot of time in the portal. They don't have to. The only time they're spending in the portal is if somebody is a significant known upgrade. Well, that's hard to do. How many players are you going to go to the transfer portal if you're Nick Saban or you're Dabo Swinney or you're Ryan Day and you're going to say, okay, is this guy better than what we currently have? 99% of the time, the answer is going to be no. And that's why they don't spend a lot of time in the transfer portal. But I think there are certain guys like Henry To'oTo'o. It's the same thing on defense. All right, you recruit him to the end out of high school. You know everything about the kid. You don't have red flags. And, oh, by the way, he just had 148 tackles in 2 years at Tennessee.
Right.
So, you're getting a known commodity. Okay, that upgrades you. That makes you better. That makes sense. But it doesn't make a lot of sense for any of those teams with top-tier personnel to just go spend 4 or 5 scholarships in the transfer portal unless you are convinced it's a significant upgrade. Otherwise, stick to the high school level because you're going to have long-term viability with elite-level players.
Thom Luginbill with us here. All right, we haven't spoken since the Travis Hunter, and I'm going to call it fiasco. I went off on this about this last week because here's my thought. I want to get your thought. If Deion Sanders has this kid's best interest at hand, he tells him, "Look, this is I appreciate the thought. You need to go play against the best of the best. You need to test yourself against them and so on. You need not to be here." I think Deion tells him, "Look, I'm a year away from a Power 5 job. I take you with me." Deion's talking about a movement. The only movement that we would see there would be Deion leaving Jackson State in a heartbeat if he had the opportunity to go to a Power 5 job. Let's see him turn down a Power 5 to stay at Jackson State for this so-called movement. How in the hell is it good for Travis Hunter to go practice against kids that are, borderline big-time college football players, play against kids, dominate? He can change the oil on a bus and drive it home. He can do everything there. It does nothing for this kid. I don't understand this in this day and age, for this to happen. What was your thought when you saw that Travis Hunter went to Jackson State?
Every single sentiment you just relayed over the air right now. And here's my issue with it. Here's my issue is if you even dare, out of the letters, NIL, being involved in this, you're the bad guy. Well, I'm sorry, but a normal Jackson State recruiting pitch, I don't care if it's Deion Sanders or Bill Walsh, is not getting a Travis Hunter to leave a Power 5 school that he's been committed to for 10 months to all of a sudden sign with an FCS program. So my reaction is, you know what? It's okay to say, you know what, Deion Sanders, Jackson State, what they accomplished on the field, what they've done in this particular instance, kudos to them. Congratulations. They pulled one over on Florida State, and they deserve credit for it. But you can also say at the same time that at some point or another, name, image, and likeness is involved in this. This doesn't happen without name, image, and likeness. And everybody's suggesting that, if you say that, you can't say that. Well, come on. Let's not be naive here. You're 100% correct in your assessment of the end game. What's the end game? The end game is I'm going to collect as much good talent as I can, take the Power 5 job, take them all with me, all right? And the end result will end up being the same for Travis Hunter as it would have been had he signed with a Power 5 school out of high school. Now, is this a sustainable thing for the FCS and HBCU? No.
No.
Was it a shocking one-off that nobody saw coming? Yes. That's fine. Okay, great. It was a great storyline. And you know what? If you're Florida State, you're Mike Norvell, you're going back to the drawing board and you're saying, okay, we got to put a stop to this. We can't allow this to happen again. What did we miss? Where did we go wrong? What is it that we know or suspect is involved here, and how do we combat it? Whatever it may be, they've got to go back to the drawing board. And so does every Power 5 school now that this has happened, because it's the wild, wild west out there. And I don't have any issue with how this played out. It is what it is, but there's no way this happens unless NIL is involved in some way, shape, or form. And everybody claiming that that's not a part of this, I think is laughable, to be honest with you.
He got a total of 3 recruits, okay? He got this kid and 2 other kids, all right? And the reality is, to me, it's almost malpractice, because to me it feels like, look, Deion Sanders has a dynamic personality. You worked with him in the Under Armour. I think he was with you guys.
I worked with him for 10 years.
Yeah. He's a dynamic personality. He's that kind of a guy. This Travis Hunter kid, I'm sure, has a Deion Sanders Florida State poster in his room somewhere. This is a guy that was a hero to him. And to me, Deion used all of that leverage, all of that personality, all of that to draw a kid, which is a detriment for the kid. He's going to get NIL money no matter where he goes. So to me, this is like Deion using his personality and taking advantage of an 18-year-old kid's starry eyes to go and play for Deion Sanders. I'm gonna go play for Coach Prime. And I even went so far last week to say this, and I know this sounds stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Nick Saban doing those commercials with Deion Sanders for Aflac, that actually gave, quote, Coach Prime a little bit of legitimacy. I think he was probably had that thing on a loop, back at Jackson State, showing all of the kids that would come through, say, look, even Coach Saban calls me Coach Prime. I'm doing commercials with Coach Saban, the greatest coach that ever walked the face of the earth. I'm on a level with with big time coaches like that. It kind of gave him a certain amount of legitimacy for him to do that commercial series with him. I just think for the kid, he's going to show up and he's going to realize, what the hell? What am I doing? What am I doing here? It makes it just makes
he's not going to get challenged.
Not at all.
It's not as if and let me tell you something. This is not a high risk recruit. This is a kid that, barring injury, will be a top 10 overall pick one day. And I rarely say that about high school kids. In fact, I hate even uttering those words, because there are so many unknown variables and there are so many different things that can happen. But barring injury, this guy is one of those guys, right? And so you're just sitting there going, all right, so how's he going to get better?
Yeah,
right.
That's
how
a great
does he
point.
get better?
Yeah, and how do you evaluate him when he's playing against guys that he'll be playing against? And that's no. Listen, there are guys that have gone to HBCUs in the more recent years that. Look, when Michael Strahan went there and when Robert Mathis went there and so on, those are guys that they didn't have opportunities to play at big time. They grew at that HBCU program, at that FCS program, and became great players, right? And then you got the other players back in the day who didn't have access, the Doug Williams and the Walter Payton and so on, back when they had. We don't have that problem anymore. I mean, that issue does not exist anymore. So I don't know what the quote-unquote statement is. It just doesn't make sense to me. Tom Luginbill is. All right, finally, Auburn pulled, Brian Harsin, give him some credit. He pulled this thing out of the fire a little bit, and he did it.
He really did.
He really did. Not only with the high school kids, but the JUCOs that he pulled in. How do you guys evaluate these JUCOs? This Jeffrey Emba kid from France who went to Independence, and most people look at him as a 4-star. Keontae Scott, Marquise Gilbert, the 3 kids. They signed the number 1 JUCO D lineman, corner, and safety. Those kids, how do you evaluate them? They are included in the recruiting rankings as opposed to the transfer portal. But just how good are these guys that they brought in?
I think they're really good players. We do what we call a JC50. So we end up looking at about 100 and 150 guys at the junior college level across the country, come up with a top 50. And, listen, most of these guys are guys we've already seen at the high school level, had already been evaluated as high school guys. And now you're just seeing them a little bit older. Some of them are either going to be qualifiers, which means if they're a qualifier and they go the junior college route right out of high school, they don't have to earn an AA degree, and they can also leave after their freshman year and still have 4 years to play free. All right, those are the guys that you really want to try and get to. I mean, I don't know how many of Auburn's guys are 4 to play 3 guys. Some of them may be what we call bounce back guys that signed somewhere out of high school, didn't work out, and then they go to the junior college ranks, and then, they usually have 2 years of eligibility, probably don't have the redshirt year left. So, but no, I think they did a really good job addressing where they felt like they needed an older player. They felt like they needed a more experienced player. Now, a lot of people will say, well, yeah, you're going to get that in the transfer portal. Well, yeah, you can. But you know what? What if you found a player that you watched play in junior college for 2 years, and he's got 24 games under his belt, and you like him better than some of the guys in the transfer portal?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be part of the evaluation too. And here's the thing. When we talk about players getting squeezed, the junior college player has been the first player to get squeezed out of scholarships with the extra year of eligibility and the one-time transfer rule. 2 years ago, a little over 300 players out of the junior college ranks signed an FBS letter of intent. Last year in the 2021 class, it was just over 100.
Wow.
So that number started to decline. And now, of course, the high school number is going to start to decline. But I think it's a nice mix. I thought that on signing day, Auburn did some really, really nice things that coming into the day, a lot of people probably didn't see happening.
Yeah. And finally, can we please not count, speaking of eligibility, can we not, it's clear that the bowl games are exhibitions. I mean, it's so clear that they're exhibitions. You look at the guys that are begging off games and so on and so forth. We know that this is basically an exhibition game. They're a wonderful celebration of football. Can we not count these games against the kids' red shirt? I mean, we're seeing guys that,
I think everybody should be eligible.
It should be a free
Every
game.
single player
right?
on the roster.
Right. Should be a free game, basically, right? So, for them not to allow a kid, for this to burn a kid's red shirt is wrong if you're 3 or 4 games in. I think. I don't know. So,
I agree with you. Listen, I proposed, you and I haven't talked since last week and since signing day. And, a lot of the topic of discussion has come up around how do you put the pace back in the tube? All right. You can't. We've made progress. We have the 4-game redshirt rule. We can still progress that forward, allow anybody that's either a freshman or an incoming freshman that is actually there for bowl practices. Let them play.
Wow.
Throw them in there. Let them. Why not? They're there. They're practicing. All right. Let's not treat them any different. If you want to, treat it like an extra spring game. Why the hell not? Right. I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody to do that.
Yeah.
So, to me, I think the thing that we've got to do more than anything else, and I'll leave you with this transfer portal deal. All right. We have to start having some areas of the calendar where it's permissible to enter into the portal. And at other times, if it's not one of those times, it isn't. You're with your team, you're fighting your battle, and you're competing. So let's just say at the end of the regular season, championship weekend, we have a 2-week dead period where you are eligible to enter the transfer portal if you choose to want to transfer. Now these schools get a better opportunity of who's going, who's coming, what is my hard number potentially going to be. Then what you do is you open it back up, you shut it back down, and you get to the end of spring football. You have another 2-week period, all right? Now when the dust is settled after spring ball, there's going to be some unhappy players. I don't want to be here. Okay, you got a 2-week window to jump in there and go somewhere else if you want. If it doesn't work out, you shut it down, and then maybe you do a 1-week to 10-day window in July, early July, where right before everybody's going to camp, decisions got to be made. If you don't want to be there, that's your window. Aside from that, you're locked into your scholarship with your team, and now everybody can move forward as a team knowing that a kid's just not going to jump in the transfer portal every other day the first time the coach comes to work each day.
I'll tell you what, Tom Luginbill, Commissioner of College Football. All right, Luke, I think that's the next step for you. We need to just make you the commissioner of all things college football. Yeah, we need it. All right, man. Listen, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Busy week. We'll be watching you next week with all your games and all your stuff going on. We will talk. When we talk, we'll have a national championship matchup to talk about next time we talk after the first of the year. I look forward to it. And to you and your family, great happy holidays.
Hey, same to you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Tom Luginbill. Man, I'll tell you what a treat it's been to be able to talk to that guy over the past 4 or 5 years. And I've known Tommy 15 years now anyway, at least, maybe longer than that, since I met him at Baumhauer's in a booth in the back corner when I was doing a remote there. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back with more right after this. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is Audiovisual the Intelligent Way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
It's Alabama, Cincinnati, Georgia, and Michigan in the Final Four.
No. Yes.
Listen to all the coverage and the games right here.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Actually, I don't think there is a drive tonight.
No, I don't think there is.
No, there is no drive tonight. We'll be having our company Christmas dinner tonight.
Bama basketball, Beham, Davidson.
Got Bama basketball.
Classic.
Yeah, they had to kind of do some shifting around in that to get that to get a game in there. But yeah, it'll be Davidson tonight. And of course, you know who famously played for Davidson, right? Well, Grizz should be at the top of your mind.
For Davidson?
Yeah.
The top of my mind?
Davidson? You talk about Davidson out of North Carolina? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Steph Curry. Davidson. Yeah. Remember that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, that was way over my head there for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, Steph Curry played for Davidson. Not anymore. I mean, if he did, it would be a closer game than it's probably going to be tonight. But, you know, that's the fact there. All right, this segment of the show is brought to you by our good friends at TOC. I mean, TOC, they do such a tremendous job down there. Look, you get to choose. You get to pick your doc. When you go to your regular doctor and he says, you need to see an orthopedic, you say, I want to see the orthopedics at TOC, and they'll get you hooked up with that. Or you can just say, I want to see Dr. Davis. I want to see Dr. Greco, whichever one it is of all the great doctors, or just say, I want to go to TOC. They'll get you hooked up, and there is really no other choice. There's a reason why Alabama A&M, the Huntsville Havoc, pretty much every high school in a region uses TOC for all their sports training needs. All right, I'll tell you what, Grizz, I have got a great story. Now I want to get the callers in here, and we're gonna do Beat the Big Dog. I've got a great NIL story because we just talked about NIL there for a moment there with Tommy, but let me just say this about that. And I don't know if you saw this. This came out, I think, yesterday, but we didn't get to it yesterday. Have you heard the story about Tyler Linderbaum? Tyler Linderbaum is an offensive lineman with Iowa, okay? Iowa, of course, has that relationship with the Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. It's right behind Kinnick Stadium.
Great. I would love to go there just for that experience alone. That's just awesome.
End, they all wave at the end. Is it the end of the first quarter or the end of the third quarter, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Third quarter, I think,
when they wave up there. I think it takes place usually at the end of the first quarter. All the kids are up in the upper.
It's awesome, though. It's great.
Truly
great.
Anyway, Tyler Linderbaum, the offensive lineman from Iowa, he just scratched a check for $30,000. A college kid wrote a check for $30,000 to the hospital, to the University Hospital, Steed Family Children's Hospital, out of his NIL money. Now, I don't know what kind of NIL money this kid's getting, an offensive lineman. But isn't that cool? I mean, that's what the Christmas spirit and the holiday tradition is all about. And I'm just going to say this about that. Leave it to an offensive lineman to do something like this.
Yeah.
This is the mentality of an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen are all about somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
They are about protecting somebody else. That's their this is a true story. Having been around the game for 100 years, offensive linemen have the mentality to take care of and protect people. And if there was somebody, and I'm not taking away from any other position or whatever, but if there was a player or a position group that was going to scratch a check for $30,000 to give to a children's hospital, a 19 or 20-year-old kid, it would be an offensive lineman. Tyler Linderbaum. Good job by you, man.
That's special. Yeah, like linemen are always like big puppies, man. They just they pick the quarter. Like I love when the quarterback picks, or like the lineman picks the quarterback up. He's like 6'7", and the guy's like 5'10", and he just like picks him up like a little kid. You know what I mean? Like just feels bad for him, pets him on the head. Good job, quarterback.
There's an old coaching bit that talks about how you would determine what position a player will play. You use a brick wall, and like if a kid runs into the brick wall and runs right through the brick wall, he's a fullback.
Yeah.
And if a kid runs up to the brick wall and jumps over the brick wall, then he's a defensive end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a kid runs into the brick wall, falls down, gets up, runs into the brick wall again, falls down, gets up, runs into the brick wall again, falls down, gets up, then he's an offensive lineman. You just keep trying. You just keep plugging away.
Offensive linemen always think they have hands, too. That was another thing in practice a lot of times. The kids always wanted to catch passes. I know they never do, but...
Well,
some of them did have hands, though.
I was a center, and I had really pretty good hands. I was a center, and I had really good hands, and the coaches used to joke all the time, like, maybe we ought to put you at tight end. And you know what the reason was? Every day in practice for 4 years, at the end of a play, they throw the ball back to the center to reset, at the end when you're in team up.
Yeah.
And I would just reach up and snag it with one hand, and wherever the ball was coming to running backs running it back, or the receiver, and I'd stick my hand in the air to throw it back.
Yep.
And we didn't have a bunch of what do you call it? Managers running around, to set the ball.
Yeah.
They would just throw it back, and I would reach up and snag it with one hand and put the ball down.
Yep.
All right, let me go to the lines. Grumpy is up. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. You said you didn't watch the Bears game last night, so let me just ask you this. Okay, it was 17-3, 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and the Bears were on the 20. They didn't kick the field goal, take the 3 to make it 17-6. And then later in the ball game, with 8 minutes to go, they were on the 4-yard line, 4th and 4. They didn't kick the 3. Would have been 2 field goals less than 30 yards, it would have been a one-possession game, 17-9. What I'm getting at is, have you ever seen a point in time when more teams were going for it on fourth down?
Never. Going for it on fourth down and going for 2 after touchdowns, that I've never seen this analytics thing that is going on right now with football. Who was the team just a couple of games ago that left 9 points out there on the field that did and ended up losing the game by 3?
Oh, the Chargers.
The Chargers.
The Chargers could have beat the Chiefs.
They could have beat the Chiefs. 3 times they went for it on fourth down. Yeah. Once was like 4th and 5. And instead of taking chip shot field goals, these teams, I don't know what the hell they're thinking.
There's another thing I saw, too, where guys were going for it like for 2, like after they scored their first touchdown. Like, I've been seeing that a lot this year, too.
Yeah.
But, you said you missed the game last night. But the Bears, they were on the air. They were calling for the coach to get fired pretty much. It was – I couldn't believe they were saying that on the air against this guy. But if he's not going to kick a field goal from the 20-yard line down 17-3 on the first play of the fourth quarter, maybe he does need to go, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thanks. No, these guys that keep saying the analytics, aggressive sometimes is stupid.
Yeah.
Don't confuse aggressive with stupid, all right? Sometimes it's stupid. And, the coach at Brandon Staley, the coach at the Chargers, 3 times, twice inside the 10-yard line, doesn't kick the field goal. And then at the end of the first half, with a 46-yarder, which is a chip shot for everybody except for the Browns, he doesn't take the field goal. No, it's just terrible. Brandon is up next. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, listening to you, 4th and 1 or a 2-point conversion, I can give you that. Going for 4th and 5 multiple times?
Yeah.
That's
and you don't go for a 2-point conversion with less than 30 seconds to go in the game when you got the best kicker in the game and you got the other team on the ropes and defensively you've been playing well. You live for another down. You live for overtime there. You go out there, you get a stop, you kick a 60-yard field goal if you have to.
Unless you're just really wanting to tear their heart out, but smart football says to not do that. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Earlier you said, are we too entrenched in our teams?
Yeah.
Last year, I'm on hold with Joseph Hunkapiller, and my wife thinks that I can't hear her.
Yeah.
And she says, today, she said, I can get whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And I just kind of pretended not to let her catch me listening to her. She was talking to her friend Carrie. She said, on the day that Alabama wins the national championship, she said the answer to every question is yes. Yes, honey, here's some money.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's like, I can go trade my car. She's like, I live for this day. She said basically about every other year because it seems to happen about every other year. So some would say yes, some would say no. But
you had that 19-year break there. You had that little 19-year break. But now, that would be very expensive.
Yeah, well, she'll want to go on a shopping spree or, hey, can we go on vacation this every year? And I'll just say, yeah, sure, because I'm usually so happy that day. Like I was in downtown Atlanta and was just giving $20 to homeless people for the hell of it because
there you go.
I just felt like being nice. But you were talking about 28-3. I worked in Atlanta and had just started working in a big downtown building right next door to the varsity. I've been there about, I guess, a month. Well, I show up to work the day after the Super Bowl, and I am literally the only person on the floor. It looks like COVID now with people working from home. Nobody there that Monday. Tuesday, people show up. Not a word is said. It is dead silent all day long through the whole building. People are not smiling, waving, the few that showed up. Well, on Wednesday, our huge division director, John Hibbard, comes down and looks around and says, what is going on down here? And I said, death and taxes.
Yeah.
So he sends out a meeting request for tomorrow, tells everybody in the whole division to be there. Well, we show up on Thursday at noon, and he says, look, he said, I've never seen this building this quiet since 9/11. He said, the funeral for the Falcons has got to stop today. He said, it's got to be over. He said, we've got to start looking at each other and talking to each other. He said, everybody go to lunch. You're dismissed for the day. He said, if you're off on Friday, I'll see you Monday. He said, but when you come back, he said, we need to get back to talking, we need to get back to laughing, and we need to get back to having a good time. He said, this won't last forever. And, I mean, the whole city of Atlanta was devastated.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was up and down the street. Like, you look out the windows, and you didn't see all the foot traffic up and down. The restaurant said the business was dead for a whole week after it happened. And, I mean, it's amazing when you're that entrenched in something that your division director has to say, hey, cheer up. We didn't all die. Life will go on.
It's a good point. It's a good point. That's how I can't even imagine what it would be like. And that's Atlanta. That's not a great sports town. That's Atlanta. I don't know what that would be like in a Detroit or Cleveland or New York City even. I don't know. Pittsburgh, if they had blown 28-3 in a Super Bowl, they'd burn the town down in Cleveland. You wouldn't have to worry about people not going to work. They'd just burn the town down.
I mean, could you imagine if the Flyers or somebody were up 6-0 going into the third period and then blew one?
Let me tell you something. The speaking of the Flyers, I think it was the Flyers. The Bruins were up 3-0 in the series against the Flyers in the Eastern Conference Final a few years ago, and it was done. It was over, and we were all making plans. It's going to be great. Stanley Cup, who they playing, and they lost the series 4-3, and it was a mess in Boston. I know it was a mess there.
Well, I mean, these soccer fans, and I see these videos of them in the Euro League and stuff. They're coming in these stadiums, and they've got flares, and it makes it look like the whole building is on fire. And I'm thinking, who in the hell let these people in the building?
You wouldn't survive a derby.
And I'm like, what are they doing? I was like, they let people come in with flares and stuff. It looks like
flare guns, cap guns. People can bring in whatever they want. I mean, just a few years ago, Roma, Lazio, someone got shot, and they had to hire a bunch of police officers to kind of monitor in street clothing because it's a very serious derby. And it's in Rome, Roma versus Lazio. Lazio is the countryside.
They don't call it a derby there. I know in England it's a derby.
Yeah, derby.
They call it a derby.
Yeah. But it's awesome.
They're in the parking lot betting $10 cash in lines to see who can take more one punches and not get knocked out. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty hardcore right there.
Soccer hooligans, man.
The soccer hooligans are probably the worst. They are probably the worst. But I do have. Thanks for the call, Brandon. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to Beat the Big Dog to tomorrow with the Friday trifecta because we just don't have time for it. So I'm going to move it to tomorrow, and we'll get to that. But speaking of soccer hooligans, I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
there was a poll of 2,000 fans from around the country back on December 7th to determine who had the worst college football fans in the entire country. Worst college football fans in the country, from cursing in the stands to throwing garbage on the field. The fans who have the worst behavior of any fans in the country. I'll tell you how it came out next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Touchdown, Boilermakers! Witness tomorrow's NFL stars this month at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
First down, handoff, tailback, right up the middle to the 30. He's out of here. 20 to the 10, crank up Rocky Top. Touchdown, right up the middle.
Don't miss a second as Tennessee and Purdue, two of college football's top programs, go head-to-head on Thursday, December 30th at 2 p.m. inside Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit musiccitybowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
Listen to Alabama football on our app. Download it today. Just search for 977 ESPN. Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
The game's on. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll be right there.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. From shooting hoops to the Super Bowl. We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Football, tennis, hockey, golf.
The game is starting. Everyone is here. I got my snacks, my friends, and a beer.
So I'm going to watch it on TV.
Are you ready for football? A Monday night party!
So I'm going to watch it on TV. So I'm going to watch it on TV.
What to watch on TV tonight is brought to us by our good friends at Audio Insight. They don't provide a one-size-fits-all solution to whatever issues that you have. At Audio Insight, it might be something easy, like we needed TVs hung in the studio. They came out, hung our TVs, did a wonderful expert job, and they look fantastic. Maybe you want an entire home theater system. You know, they can take care of that. Maybe you want to connect your whole house, you know, via the internet and these deals with the, you know, where they can control your thermostats and your TVs and your music. The whole home music is a fantastic thing. The speakers, they've got it all at Audio Insight. So you need to check them out. They've been doing this now for over 20 years with today's great technology, integrating them into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. Check out their showroom at 1229 Putman Drive. That's 1229 Putman Drive, right off of Jordan Lane. Check out their great products that they have there. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more. That's audio-insight.com. Tonight we have more NFL football. It just won't stop coming. It's Maction. It's Maction NFL style on a Tuesday night. Fox actually has two regional games, Washington and Philadelphia. These two teams are well, Washington, if they win, they go back into that final wild card spot. So this is an elimination game for them if they can get to 7-7. Philadelphia is also still hanging around at 6-7. So this is a bit of an elimination game right there. And then you got Seattle and the Rams. Have the Rams gotten things straightened out? Those games will be going on concurrently. Grizz, why didn't they go back-to-back? Why are they going with the West Coast game is 6 o'clock our time, which means it's 4 o'clock L.A. time in Los Angeles. Why wouldn't they have gone with the Washington-Philadelphia game early and have a Fox doubleheader today? You got an East Coast game and a West Coast game.
Yeah, it's confusing. It's very confusing. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, on that one.
You know which game we're getting? What our Fox? We must be getting the East game.
We'll probably get Washington and Eagles.
I would think that we got the East game.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would think on that. Alabama playing tonight as well. Is that on SEC Network? Do we know? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I saw it yesterday. It is on SEC Network, but you can hear it as well.
No, it's actually on ESPN. No.
Did they switch it?
No.
I saw on their schedule
you're
it
right.
said, okay.
You're right. It's on the SEC Network tonight. So that game, SEC Network Plus, really, that game, Alabama hosting Davidson. Alabama now number 10 in the country. Davidson 8-2 coming into that one. So if you want to check that out, that is at 6:00 tonight. No real big games tonight in college basketball. I mean, a lot of people are playing, but there's no the only top 25 on top 25 game would be the Xavier Villanova game, 18 versus 23, and that is on FS1. All right, Grizz. 2,000 fans across the country.
Yeah.
This is what they had to say. Number 9 was Arizona State. They get too drunk, their fans. Texas A&M was number 8. Use foul language. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Michigan had number 7 worst fans in the country. They yell at the other fans. Florida State was number 6, and Florida was number 5, and they were accused of getting too drunk. They get too drunk.
No Colorado.
Yeah.
Surprised.
Number 4 worst fans in America.
Yeah.
Tennessee Volunteers. They throw trash on the field.
Throw trash on the field. Yeah, right? Of course, don't they?
Throw trash on the field. Yeah. Number 3 worst fans in the country, LSU fans. They yell at the other fans.
Yeah.
They do. They'll fight you.
Yeah, they will fight you.
If you're beating them, they fight amongst themselves. If they're beating you, they fight you. Number 2 worst college football fans in the country, the Ohio State University. They also yell at other fans. That's what they got accused of.
And talk about thee and us and I.
The.
Yeah, the.
And the number 1 worst
I can expect this.
fans in the entire country.
What kind?
Are Alabama fans.
Yeah. Cocky.
Arrogant, and they think that they're better than you. Well,
because they are.
Yes, they are. Because they are better than you. So Alabama, again, number 1. Alabama just can't get away from being number 1. There is 4 SEC teams in the top 5 for worst fans in the country.
As a kid, Iowa State fans were pretty bad.
Auburn came in at number 16. Also arrogant, think that they're better than you.
Sounds about right. The other Alabama.
Texas fans, arrogant, think they're better than you. That's number 21.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, tomorrow's going to be a big show. Tomorrow we have got all our Christmas music, including our special Christmas music on outros that I'll have for you. Stuff you have never heard before. We also, tomorrow, will have a Beat the Big Dog and a Christmas Fecta. All coming up tomorrow. I need like a 9-hour show tomorrow. Don't get any ideas, Moulton. Coming up next is Chuck Oliver. Then Paul Feinbaum. Alabama basketball pregame and Alabama basketball against Davidson. All right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Looking for a great deal? Well, I've got one